Have you ever found yourself wondering why, even after 6 decades of living, life still feels heavy? You've weathered countless storms, celebrated victories, loved deeply, and learned hard lessons. Yet sometimes that weight you carry isn't physical, it's emotional baggage that's been accumulating for years. Happiness after 60 is not about adding more to your life. It's about having the courage to subtract what no longer serves you. We spend our younger years collecting relationships, possessions, obligations, fears, but true elderly wisdom teaches us that real freedom comes from letting go. Hi, it's Vernon again. Today, I want to share something that changed my perspective on life after 60 completely. I'll reveal 5 specific things you should remove from your life right now, not tomorrow, not next week, to create instant space for joy, peace, and authentic happiness. But before we dive deep into this transformative journey together, could you do me a favor? Hit that like button if you're ready for some real talk about aging gracefully, and subscribe to this channel for more senior life advice that actually makes a difference. Because what we're about to discuss isn't just theory, it's practical elderly wisdom that can change your golden years starting today. Let's start with the number 1 thing that steals joy at any age. You can exercise, eat right, and plan for the future, but if you don't deal with this, you'll still feel heavy. 1. Toxic relationships. Let me start with something that might hit close to home. After 60, you simply cannot afford to keep toxic people in your life. I'm talking about those individuals who consistently criticize, manipulate, or make you feel small. The energy drainers. The ones who call only when they need something. Maya Angelou once said, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time." At our age, we've had plenty of time to see people's true colors, yet many of us still cling to relationships that stopped serving us years ago. Life after 60 teaches us that quality trumps quantity every single time. When you finally set boundaries with toxic people, the relief is immediate. It's like finally being able to breathe again after holding your breath for years. The truth is, some relationships have expiration dates. Just because you've known someone for decades doesn't mean you're obligated to continue a connection that consistently leaves you feeling drained, criticized, or undervalued. Here's my question for you. Is there someone in your life who consistently takes more than they give? Someone who leaves you feeling worse about yourself? I want you to think about this, and if you're comfortable, share in the comments below about a time when letting go of a toxic relationship brought you peace. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. But it's not just people who can weigh us down. Sometimes it's the clutter around us that's stealing our joy. 2. Clutter and excess possessions. Walk through your home right now. Really look around. How much of what you see actually brings you joy? How much is just there, collecting dust and taking up space? After 60, our relationship with possessions should shift dramatically. We've accumulated decades worth of just-in-case items, sentimental objects that no longer spark memories, and gifts we felt obligated to keep. But here's the truth. Aging gracefully means recognizing that our energy is precious, and maintaining excess possessions drains that energy. The Japanese have a beautiful concept called mono no awara, the bittersweet awareness of the impermanence of all things. It teaches us to appreciate what we have while understanding that attachment to material objects can prevent us from fully experiencing life's fleeting moments. Every object in your space should either serve a purpose or bring you genuine joy. When you declutter your physical environment, you're also decluttering your mental space. You'll find cleaning becomes easier, your home feels more peaceful, and you have more energy for the personal growth seniors actually need: reflection, creativity, and connection. Senior wellness isn't just about physical health. It's about creating an environment that supports your current life, not your past one. The process of letting go of excess possessions is emotional, but incredibly freeing. With each item you donate or discard, you'll feel lighter and more focused on what truly matters. And once your physical space is clear, the next thing to release is often the heaviest burden of all. 3. Regrets of the past. This might be the most challenging one to hear, but it's also the most liberating. You must stop living in the museum of your regrets. Life after 60 offers a unique perspective. We have enough lived experience to see patterns, to understand consequences, and yes, to accumulate regrets. But here's what elderly wisdom has taught me. Regret is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. I want you to save this video and come back to it whenever you find yourself spiraling into what if thinking, because what I'm about to share could change how you view your entire past. I learned this lesson myself the hard way. There was a time when I was haunted by career decisions I made in my 50s, relationships I handled poorly, and words I wished I could take back. But dwelling on those regrets was stealing precious time from the relationships and experiences that were right in front of me. The transformation came when I finally understood something profound. Every choice I made, including the ones I regret, led me to exactly where I needed to be. Those mistakes taught me empathy, humility, and wisdom that I couldn't have gained any other way. Positive aging requires us to reframe our past not as a series of mistakes, but as a curriculum that prepared us for this moment. Every experience, even the painful ones, contributed to the wisdom we have today. While we're busy mourning past decisions, we're missing present opportunities for connection, joy, and fulfillment. Beautiful moments pass us by, all because we can't let go of decisions made decades ago. Regret isn't the only emotional weight we carry. Fear can be just as paralyzing. 4. Fear of aging. Here's something our youth-obsessed culture doesn't want you to know. Aging is not a disease to be cured or a failure to be hidden. It's a privilege denied to many and a source of profound wisdom and freedom. Yet so many people over 60 spend their energy fighting the natural process of aging instead of embracing the unique gifts it brings.
They're terrified of wrinkles, gray hair, slower movement, or being perceived as old. This fear keeps them hiding, playing small, and missing out on the richness that comes with this stage of life. Cicero, the great Roman philosopher, understood this deeply when he wrote about aging centuries ago. He observed that those who rail against aging are like passengers complaining about a journey they chose to take. But those who embrace aging discover that this stage of life offers freedoms and perspectives unavailable to the young. I see this fear manifesting in so many ways. People avoiding new experiences because they think they're too old, declining social invitations because they feel self-conscious about their appearance, or worse, believing their best years are behind them. But here's what senior motivation really looks like. It's learning new skills you never had time for before, traveling to places you've dreamed of, making friends across generations, and choosing to see aging not as decline, but as evolution. When you stop fearing aging and start embracing it, you discover something remarkable. You become more authentic, more confident, and more attractive, not in spite of your age, but because of it. You develop what I call elder magnetism, the irresistible appeal of someone who knows who they are and isn't apologizing for it. Healthy aging starts in the mind, with the decision to see your years as accumulating wisdom, not accumulating problems. And finally, perhaps the most important thing to let go of after 60, 5. The need to please everyone. If there's one thing that life after 60 should teach us, it's this. You are no longer auditioning for other people's approval. You've spent decades caring what others think, adjusting your behavior to fit their expectations, and saying yes when you meant no. It's time to retire from that exhausting job. The Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote about this concept thousands of years ago, noting that true happiness comes from living according to your own values, rather than trying to meet others' expectations. But it often takes us 6 decades to truly understand what he meant. People-pleasing might seem like kindness, but it's actually a form of dishonesty, both to yourself and to others. When you constantly accommodate others at your own expense, you're not showing love, you're showing fear. Fear of conflict, fear of disappointment, fear of being disliked. Let me share a story about my sister Carol that illustrates this perfectly. For years, Carol's adult children would call her every time they had a problem, financial, relationship, career. And every time Carol would drop everything to help, even when it meant sacrificing her own plans, her own resources, or her own peace of mind. She thought she was being a good mother, but she was actually enabling their dependency while exhausting herself. The real breakthrough came when Carol realized that constantly rescuing her children wasn't helping them develop resilience and problem-solving skills. It was actually handicapping them. When Carol learned to say, "I love you, and I believe you can figure this out," instead of immediately offering to fix everything, something beautiful happened. Her relationships with her children became more balanced and respectful. They grew stronger, and she reclaimed her energy for the things that truly mattered to her. Senior life advice that actually works isn't about being selfish, it's about being authentic. When you stop people-pleasing, you give others the gift of knowing the real you. You also model healthy boundaries, which is one of the most valuable lessons you can teach the younger generation. This doesn't mean becoming cruel or indifferent. It means choosing your yeses carefully and making sure they align with your values, not your fears. Because the moment you stop living for everyone else's expectations, you finally start living for yourself.
Watching this far, you already understand that happiness after 60 isn't about adding more. It's about learning what to release. Happiness after 60 isn't about what you accumulate. It's about what you release. The lighter your emotional load, the brighter your days become. Elderly wisdom teaches us that true wealth isn't measured by what we have, but how freely we can move through our days unburdened by what no longer serves us. Think about it this way. If you were packing for a journey, you'd only bring what you truly need. Life after 60 is exactly that kind of journey, one that requires you to travel light, carry only what brings you joy, and leave behind everything that weighs you down. The ancient Stoic philosophers had a beautiful understanding of this principle. They knew that freedom comes not from having more, but from needing less. When you remove these 5 burdens from your life, you're not losing anything valuable. You're gaining everything that matters. Which of these 5 things resonated most deeply with you today? Which one are you ready to release first? I genuinely want to hear from you in the comments below. Your insights and experiences might be exactly what another person needs to find their own path to joy and freedom. And if this conversation has opened your heart to new possibilities for living gracefully and authentically over 60, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I have so many more videos about positive aging, senior wellness, and discovering the profound elderly wisdom that comes with this beautiful stage of life. Your golden years are waiting. Let's make them truly golden together. I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.